one of them is the partial methods. So up until C# 8, partial methods were extremely limited. So you could have partial classes in different files. Very useful, we've used them all the time, especially Windows Forms or any other kind of tools that automatically create code behind was using partial classes to separate the code that you own from the code that the framework automatically generates. And partial methods were basically a way to extend, to add some implementation on code that was automatically generated. But the limitation were that the partial method must be private and void, return void. And obviously, it was a bit limiting, right? So you couldn't use out keywords, you couldn't return values, you couldn't make it public or anything like that. The main reason why Microsoft had that limitation was because they wanted to provide the ability to automatically remove a call to a partial method if there was no implementation. Because the method was void and private, there was this wasn't a problem. However, C# 9 now added support for using this accessibility on partial methods, using any return types, using how parameters, pretty much everything you can do with methods, you can do it with partial methods. There's only one limitation, that is obviously if you use an explicit accessibility, you need to have a definition. So there must be an implementation of the partial method for the code to compile. Before, if there was no implementation, the compiler would just simply remove the code to the partial method. Now, if you're using if you have explicit accessibility, if you make it public, for example, this is no longer the case. You always have to have an implementation present to have the code to compile. Especially if it's returning values, you might actually using this value in the code base. There's no easy way to remove a partial method call from the code.